What's good? What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of The Urban Platform Speaks. Make sure to like and subscribe as you tune into the channel and check out the content. And with that being said, man, I want to. LeBron James to this point has still hasn't made a decision as to where he could go. You know, a few teams is on his list. You know, people talking about a few teams. They talking about Cleveland, the Warriors, and I hear the Spurs. Even some people say something. You know, mention the Pistons and the Thunder. Right now, in my opinion, I just think that LeBron James probably his best bet probably would be going back to Cleveland. That's my that I think that's the best situation for him is to go to Cleveland. But now I was listening to Scap Attack, right? And Scap he had his input. And what I want to do is I want to play the audio from Scap Attack and come back and give my input on what I think, LeBron should do as far as, choosing a team, his next destination to play.
And LeBron James is still holding the entire NBA and my news cycle hostage with his latest decision. And is there anyone out there who doesn't believe he doesn't already know where he's going? And look, let's get to the crux of the decision itself. Yes, there are reportedly 6 to 7 teams still in the running, according to super agent Rich Paul. But reportedly, it is between 3 teams at the moment: Miami, Minnesota, and Philadelphia. And can these teams
I don't see Miami. Now the reason I don't see Miami is because he's been there. I don't think Pat Riley is really big on him. Minnesota, that's the first I heard about Minnesota, right? Him and Anthony Edwards, they could work together. I don't know. Philly, I don't know about Philly. You got him and Tyrese Mack. Well, Tyrese Maxey is a clutch. He's a client for clutch. So maybe there's some type of connection there. But I don't know about Philly. I thought more so with the Warriors. I've been hearing more about the Warriors and Cleveland. Like I said, I'm sticking with my best guess is Cleveland.
themselves be any less American? No, I'm not talking about the teams themselves, the players themselves, or the cities themselves. I'm talking about the fact that if LeBron goes there, it will constitute undeniably his third career super team, the third different super team that he will have built throughout the course of his 24-year NBA career, 24 years next season, of course. And it would be unbelievably the 5th time throughout his career, the 5th, that he has teamed up with, at the very least, a top 10 and arguably a top 5 player in the current NBA. Yes, there was Dwayne Wade, the decision of the summer in 2011 when LeBron took his talents to South Beach. Dwayne Wade, undeniably a top 5 league-wide player. He then jumped that team to go join up with Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love. Love, who was, at the time, yes, a top 10 NBA player. I kid you not. And for those of you kids on the interwebs that are rejecting the idea of Kevin Love being top 10, well, the very season before that team up, Kevin Love averaged 26 points per game, 12 and a half rebounds, and 4.4 assists. He was top 3 league-wide in player efficiency rating, box plus minus, value over replacement, and win shares. He was second-team All-NBA, yes, absolutely, and undeniably a top 10 league-wide player.
I always thought that Kevin Love should have stayed in Minnesota. I know he won a ring at Cleveland, but I'm the kind of I just would prefer to do my own thing rather than I don't know, because sometimes when he was playing with LeBron James, it's kind of like LeBron James made him the scapegoat and all this other nonsense. So I would have been like, leave me, especially going to the circus, that circus of playing with LeBron James, and I just would have wanted to do my own thing. But he went to Cleveland, they won a ring, and I think that the way that they presented Kevin Love, I think they kind of changed like the public image and the public perception about Kevin Love. And that's why a lot of superstar basketball players didn't want to play with LeBron James. Look at what happened to Russell Westbrook. You know how they ran. You know they drug him when he played with him. Then you got Kevin Love. You know Dwight Howard, and it's just a lot of people didn't really. I don't know. It just didn't work out in people's favor going to play with LeBron James.
He then bounced to Los Angeles, where he didn't make the playoffs in year one, but not to worry because top 5 league-wide player Anthony Davis was on the way. Then they trade Anthony Davis at the tail end of his tenure in LA for a top 5 player in Luka Doncic. And now, again, reportedly, he is trying to decide between Minnesota, Miami, and Philadelphia. Of course, if it's Miami, he pairs with a top 3 to 5 league-wide player in Giannis Antetokounmpo. If it's Minnesota, he pairs with a top 10 player in Anthony Edwards. And if it's Philadelphia, look, this might be the superest of all of LeBron's super teams to this point. He will pair up with Jaylen Brown, who was second-team All-NBA last year and finished 6th league-wide in MVP vote. Of course, he will also be pairing up with Tyrese Maxey. Maxey and Jaylen Brown together constitute 2 top 5 league-wide scorers last year overall. And of course, Maxey was also All-NBA. He was All-NBA third team, though I think a fringe second-team performer last year for Tyrese Maxey. So in addition to Brown and Maxey, just throw into the mix former league MVP big Joel Embiid. So what exactly is holding up LeBron's decision?
Man, just imagine if LeBron James played with Maxey, Embiid, and Brown. That right there, to me, that seems like the most, you know, the most dangerous lineup, in my opinion, to go to Philly. Now, if he was to go to Minnesota and play with Anthony Edwards, right? I just think that they still going to need some more pieces, right? But man, I you know, and this is the first that I'm hearing. This is the first that I'm hearing about. He may be able to go and play with Philly. Now, although that they putting this out there, like I said, they put a lot of teams out there, you know. But you know, if he pulls this off, I'm still going with the Cleveland thing. And only thing that's really prevented me from going 100% with Cleveland is the fact that Cleveland said that they don't really have a lot of money. So I think if LeBron James get desperate, now that might be the reason why LeBron James is taking his time too, because if he can find a better option than Cleveland, then I think he'll go there. And I think Philly is a better option as far as like being able to win and, you know, put him in a position to win. But Cleveland is the best option for like nostalgia and his retirement tour and stuff like that, right? So I don't know. I think I'm still, you know, like I said, if it wasn't for money, I'm leaning towards Cleveland, you know, but we'll see.
Is he really just trying to string it out as long as possible, make it all about him, hijack the news cycle, as I said, on the 4th of July and beyond into the 4th of July weekend? Or is he, in typical LeBron fashion, just waiting for these teams, these finalists, if you will, to make more moves, to wow him in some way, to make other acquisitions or trades to woo LeBron further to their city or make their closing cases as to why he should choose them over these other teams in the running? Well, as always, the answer, of course, is yes. Yes to both. LeBron loves making it all about him and loves having the spotlight on him as long as he can possibly keep it there. And of course, he does want as much help as he can possibly get to try to steal one more garbagey super team ring on his way out. And again, this is so utterly anti-American. It is the antithesis of the American way, the American dream, the pull yourself up from your own bootstraps kind of mentality where you want to accomplish difficult tasks, go straight through the heart of the biggest and hardest challenges, overcome all of the obstacles. Yes, not LeBron James. He wants to take a helicopter to the top of the mountain. He wants to take the easiest of ways out. He wants things handed to him. And it, of course, is nothing new for a guy who's set to turn 42 in December. A guy who inked Chosen One across his back at the age of 17, who has been calling himself the king basically since he got into the NBA, who has had his hand out with a what can you do for me kind of mentality from the youngest of ages that we have actually seen this guy. A pervasive, soft ass mentality that has permeated his on the court career too. Should this
Dang, he not holding back. This Scap is not holding back on LeBron, right? But yeah, man, I just think that LeBron, I'm kind of, I don't know. I'm kind of like if he go to Philly, that's it'll be more entertaining. I think, especially in the East, if you know what I mean. Philly is in the East, then you got New York, and then you got the Pistons, Cleveland, the Pacers might be back, with Halliburton next year. So, man, that I never even heard about this, a possibility of LeBron going to Philly. But I don't know how him and Jaylen Brown get along. I don't know how he gets along with Joel Embiid. I do know that him and Embiid played on the Olympic team together. I don't know what that experience was like for Joel Embiid. So I don't know. It just remains to be seen. But it's a lot going on with LeBron James as usual. So yeah, that man, you know what? That's my take on it. Make sure to like, subscribe to the channel. Also, don't forget to leave a comment. And with that being said, check y'all out in the next video. Peace.